come, want to assure, you are welcome to this screening exercise. We can assure you we do what is right, and there is no cause for alarm. The President has nominated you, and this Senate and the National Assembly will have a synergy with the legislature, with the executive. So we don't want you to feel nervous or worried. We are going to do what is right. So once more, we congratulate you. And let me congratulate our colleagues, the distinguished Senator Tainang, the Special Advisor to the President on Niger Delta Affairs. You are welcome to this screening. And let me also inform you, we don't clap in the Senate. We don't clap in the Senate. So let nobody clap in the Senate. The chairman nominee, we saw you. We hope we are safe with what you said. Don't worry, don't worry. So we will start the screening. You will now go in. We will start with the chairman. We will call the distinguished Senator Moare, please bring them one after, but we'll start with the chairman right away. So all the other nominees can go in there now. Colleagues, Chairman House Committee, Right Honorable Dr. Pius Odubu, a former member of the House of Representatives of the Federal Republic of Nigeria from 2003 to 2007, former Deputy Governor of Edo State, a legal practitioner. I think we have a tradition . So we have our tradition, and I don't think anybody of according respect, our parliamentary tradition of according respect to our colleagues when they are appointed, which is normally that they take their bow. But before you take your bow, we need to hear from you. You need to introduce yourself to us and confirm just shortly, address us shortly. Please, you can sit down.
Honorable member, let me first of all say that I'm profoundly grateful for the privilege extended to me this morning. My name is Pius Odubu. I'm from Oriomo in Edo State. Oriomo is the largest oil producer in Edo State and the only gas producer also in Edo State. Mr. Chairman, sir, at the risk of dealing with me this morning, I was in the House of Reps from 1999 to 2007. I am a lawyer by training. I have a first degree in political science, Doctor of Jurisprudence in Law, specialization degree in law in international comparative law. I was a member of the National Assembly from 1999 to 2007. Thereafter, I became the Deputy Governor of Edo State from 2008 to 2016. In the immediate present, I was the Director of the President, Director of Logistics President Campaign Council. I want to say, sir, on behalf of the board and management of NDDC, that we are committed to working with this committee of the Senate and that of the House of Assembly to repositioning and rebranding the Niger Delta Commission so that we can change the narratives for good. I want to thank you for admitting me to your presence this morning and granting me the privilege of bow and go. If you permit me now, I will stand up, do the shaking, so that the former DSP will see me. my people will see me. Senator Gaya will see me. David Manager will see me. And of course, what I did just now, sir, as a person, as a son of the Palace of Benin, anytime the name of the Oba of Benin is mentioned, we are supposed to say Oba Atokwe. That is what I say, sir. So you are safe. I therefore I bow and I tremble. Thank you all, and God bless you. Yes, sir.
Colleagues, it's our tradition. You can see the way he's talking. He's very much at home here. He was here for about 8 years. And the way he's talking is telling us, I am one of you. And we are telling you, yes, you are one of us. So you can now go. No question. You can't, no question.
I also see Sikibo about.
Before us is the president nominee for the position of Managing Director of NDDC, Mr. Bernard Okumagba. From Delta State, a well-respected son of Delta State, humble, and I'm from Delta State, sir. I'm speaking also from Delta State. Doesn't mean the fact that I'm from Delta. So, is here before you for the screening. Undistinguished, I have the right to speak. I have the right to speak because it's from my state. Distinguished colleagues, have known Bernard Okumagba for a very long time, and I've had the privilege of working closely with him for a very long time. And he's from one of the biggest and well-respected families in Delta State. Humble, hardworking, and a very, very perfect gentleman. I present him to you as the chairman of this committee, and also as somebody from Delta State. I can testify to his humility, his honesty, and his character. Thank you, honorable member.
The distinguished chairman of this committee on Niger Delta, distinguished Senator Peter Waboshi, the vice chair of the committee, other distinguished senators here present, the vice chair of the House Committee on NDDC, my representative from Warri Federal Constituency. I greet you all. I am delighted to be here. I'm thankful for the honor and privilege to be with you today. I thank Mr. President for the opportunity, the nomination, and the opportunity to serve our country. My name is Bernard Okumagba from Delta State. I'm a chartered accountant. I've had extensive experience in the private sector and the public sector, starting out from an international financial services firm on to several banks. Worked in public service after my career in the private sector, spanning over 16 years. I went on to serve as in 2007 as Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget in Delta State, and then another term for 3 years as Commissioner for Finance in Delta State up to 2013. And then I came back into the private sector. I run a number of companies after that, financial consulting firm, as well as services in the oil and gas sector. So I've had experience garnered from the private sector and the public sector, and I'm passionate about our country. I'm passionate about serving our people in the Niger Delta, and I think that it is important at this juncture to be able to make a contribution. I don't know whether I can go ahead and talk about some of the things that... Okay.
Manager, who is the senator representing him? So, distinguished Senator James Manager.
The deputy chairman from the House of Reps, deputy chairman of this committee, or NDDC committee in the House of Reps, ladies and gentlemen, just like the chairman in his opening remarks said about the nominee, although the nominee recognized the House of Reps man representing him, but I am the senator representing you. I'm a member of this committee. I know the nominee very well. I represent him. He's a worthy constituent of mine. And he's focused, straightforward, hardworking, diligent, and of course, at every given point in time, he has a listening ear to any issue. And that is what you need in the Niger Delta, because of the turbulence that's going on in the place. So at this point in time, you need a character of the person of Bernard Okumagba to be in control of the NDDC as managing director. I recommend him to you. The president has succeeded in fishing out a worthy son of the Niger Delta for this kind of appointment at this point in time. My distinguished colleagues, you know it very well that when a constituent appears for screening, because this is an extension of the Senate, it's like as if the Senate is at plenary right now as we are gathered together here. And this nominee is from Delta, and the chairman of this committee is from Delta. And that is why the chairman was tempted to doing quite a lot of things. And that is understandably so. So since the chairman is from Delta, and this man is from Delta, and in keeping with our traditions, and of course, I am here, yes, and the deputy chairman of the House Committee of NDDC is the one representing him at that level. So considering all this together, my dear distinguished colleagues, do the needful. I will plead with you to do the needful. Agree that it's going to be MD if confirmed. Because, Mr. MD, if you are not confirmed here, you can't be MD. So if confirmed, it's going to be MD. He has to throw up quite a lot of things talking about the Niger Delta. I agree with you all. This is screening. But you can also trust us. Have confidence in what we are saying. We are your colleagues. We have never misled you before. Having said that, Mr. Chairman, yes, I will urge my colleagues in keeping with our tradition. You know the tradition. Not just honorable members, House of Reps or senators served before, appearing before us before we will take a bow and go. When a very significant nominee appears before us, and the person presiding is from the same place with him, the tradition is very clear. In keeping with that tradition, I want to move that the nominee for the position of MD of Niger Delta Development Commission, please take a bow and go. Take a bow and go. Yes.
nominee of the President for the position of Executive Director Projects, Engineer Otobong Ndem from Akwa Ibom State, is before us. Briefly,
the nominee for the position of Executive Director from Akwa Ibom State. But, Mr. Chairman, let me specifically thank you and most distinguished senators who are members of this committee for giving me the privilege, the opportunity to appear before this honorable committee today. Let me also recognize my own senator that is here, Senator Okoh. Let me recognize Senator Rochas Okorocha, His Excellency, the former performing governor of Imo State that is here. Let me recognize the former Deputy Senate President. I recognize everybody. Thank you. And the House of Assembly. I am also a former member of the Akwa Ibom State Road Maintenance Agency. Before I got the appointment by Mr. President to serve in the board of the NDDC. But previously, I have worked as a project engineer, as a site engineer, and as a project manager in different organizations before I joined the public sector, where I was appointed, like I said, into the Road Maintenance Agency. I am a civil engineer by profession, a member of the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria. I am also a member of the American Society of Civil Engineers and also a member of the All Progressive Congress. I am married, and the marriage is blessed with children. I am from a part of Akwa Ibom State known as Mkparenin, a community where oil was first discovered in Akwa Ibom State. I am 41 years old. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for this opportunity.
The nominee before us today, Mr. Chairman, is my constituent, Right Honorable Engineer Otobong Ndem. He's very well known to me. He's a very humble person, a strong and dogged politician. Mr. Chairman, Right Honorable Otobong Ndem, if cleared by this noble committee, as nominated by Mr. President, will ensure that his function, his role in the NDDC is well executed, because I know his worth. And Mr. Chairman, Otobong Ndem comes from the oil-producing senatorial district of Akwa Ibom State, and I want to strongly recommend him to this committee to approve his nomination. Thank you.
Ndem, I have looked at your CV, and it looks very impressive. And I'm particularly interested in the fact that you are the project, you are going to be the project director if you are approved. And because of the problem that NDDs have faced, having many abandoned projects, I hope and I pray that your own tenure will be different to ensure that the quantum of abandoned projects in the NDDC area is reduced. Of course, the sitting senator by association, that we are sitting next to one another, shows that I'm really in support of your nomination. I therefore recommend it to other members. Thank you.
With the first page, of the resume given to us. I'm a bit confused about, your qualifications and the times too that you got these qualifications. If you look at number 5, that you got West African School Certificate in 2007. In which case you got your school certificate 2007, but you got your HND 2002. And then of course your ND you got in 1999. And you got school certificate in 2007. 2007. So you got your ND 1999 long before you got your school certificate. How did you cope with that? You got the higher degree first, and then of course the one you have in 2019, which is the BSc in Civil Engineering. 2019. I think you just got that now, this year. But what is important is after school certificates, how come that you got higher degrees before you got, the certificate that also have enabled you for admission?
Page 2.
On page 2, where you have your photograph. It is very important that, in as much as our colleagues have, tried to speak on your behalf, experience that we have had over the years, from this committee, you are very pivotal to the smooth running of that commission. You really need to give, a very serious word of commitment to this committee. Yes, this committee is going to oversight you because you are very pivotal. Senator Oborofis already mentioned something to you now. The incidence of abandoned projects in Niger Delta has become a very huge source of embarrassment to everybody in this country, particularly those of us who are from that region. So please, let the narrative change. And you have to give us your word of commitment that yes, you are not going to discharge your duties just as others have been discharging their duties in that commission. Thank you.
If you look at this one my colleague has just expressed, item number 1 on education, Project Management College of UK, Executive Masters, Project Management, 2012. Master's degree, 2012. The University of Port Harcourt, BSc Civil Engineering, BSc Civil Engineering, 2019. See, that is a problem. You can't get, maybe there's a mistake when they are typing a document also. You explain to us. If you have an original show there, then two, you say you are right honorable. Were you speaker of Akwa Ibom House of Assembly? Were you speaker? Yeah. Okay. Why is it the word right honorable? It doesn't matter. No.
And we all were quite satisfied. My comment then was in the positive of what he represents in supporting you post idea. When the chairman came in here, he took a bow. And this is because of our common practice in the Senate, that once you're a ranking member, once you are one of us, you take a bow. But my point here is that similar thing came up in the floor of the House. If you recall, one of the ministers took a bow because he was a House of Assembly member. That happened, and we all applauded it. This gentleman, I don't mean by applauded means we accepted. We don't clap in the National Assembly. Maybe you allow me end. When you are speaking, I didn't say anything. I'm putting it to you categorically that during the screening period, a House Assembly member took a bow because he was a House Assembly member. And if he's a House Assembly member, I don't see why we should not follow the same procedure. I mean, the young man should be allowed to take a bow. It's a practice of the Senate. Excuse me, gentlemen, it happened. Unless any of you cannot bear me witness. So we're not saying to be doing a selective this and now.
We wonder why it was.
Yeah. No, but if it has happened, it should happen.
It's not a practice.
And number 2 is when some people, when they come here, I'm sure, I don't know how fast they prepared his CV. I'm sure if you need him, you might give him time to check his CV and prepare his CV properly, because sometimes in a hurry, he can make some mistakes. Arrangement. By the time we do arrangement, he can see. So there's no point us going to this details that will create this thing for our national image. So, Mr. Chairman,
my suggestion, I hereby move that it's similar to our practice that a minister took a bow during the screening, that this honorable member, one time House Assembly member, should also take a bow, like the minister was House Assembly member, take a bow. And I want us to stop at that and do the needful. Thank you.
It is true that, in fact, he's the Minister of Transport. He took a bow and left as a member of, as a speaker 2 times. As his petroleum also did that. But even though I agree with you completely, but that is not the issue. There's a very serious issue that we need to clear. That is this arrangement. If it's an error, let us know. Then we may now take a decision on that. So while we have taken note of very important point you have made, very, very important. Yes. We just want him to clear this issue of this arrangement. I agree with you. You can wait now. I just want you to. Can you please, can you clarify this question they have asked you about your certificate, about your arrangements here? Yes.
Senators.
No, the certificate you want to share.
This copy. Mr. Chairman, it is important that I put up clarification, especially.
Can we listen to him?
Especially for the purposes of members of the fourth estate of the realm that are here. Mr. Chairman, what I have seen, what is on the issue of the certificate having the school set in 2007, Mr. Chairman, it is an omission that the one I had in 1995 was not included here. So the most recent one has been the one of 2017 when I wanted to do law. That was when I took this one. Okay. So it might be before the next 5 minutes, I can also bring forward and attach the one I had in 1995. The one of 2007 was to enable me study law.
Yes.
That was the reason. And I think the person included the most recent ones.
Okay.
Then,
I want to believe there's a subject you wanted.
For the purposes of studying law.
For purposes of studying law.
Yes.
Either literature or something like that.
Literature.
Or English. Yes. You wanted to get it. That is why
literature,
this.
Yes.
Okay, but you have one before.
I have the other one, which I can also include now. I can bring it now. Yes. Then, Mr.
Clarify that point, and taking special note of the point raised by His Excellency Rochas Okolosha. Can you now stand up, take a bow, and go? And bring the writing to us today. Those things, to clarify those issues.
Permit me, Mr. Chairman, to recognize my senator representing the Bayelsa East Senatorial District, Senator Degi Biobarakumo Eremiyon, my own senator. My name, as it is in the CV, is Maxwell Okoh. I come from a community called Otuasega in Kolo Creek, an oil-bearing community that have Shell operating there and Aji pipeline crisscrossing. I was born in 1974, December 13. I'm a purely home boy. Had my primary and secondary education in Otuasega. I schooled at the River State University of Science and Technology. And again, Mr. Chairman, I'm glad to say that my senior I met in school, a member of your committee, because I read architecture, and he was my senior from River State, though. I'm happy to see him as a member of your committee. I read architecture in River State University of Science and Technology. Senator Sekibo. Thank you, sir. upon graduation, I left for University of Jos to continue my master's degree. And in the process, I was called to serve the Nigerian First Energy Minister when the government of former President Olusegun Obasanjo merged the Ministry of Petroleum and Ministry of Power to form Ministry of Energy. I was his SA, and as the government just came to an end, I was called to serve in Bayelsa, first as Commissioner of Youth, Conflict Resolution and Employment Generation, maybe because of my background as youth leader that was involved as pioneer founders of the Joy Youth Council, with its agitation that led to the formation of the NDDC. At least I was involved in the discussions that took place in Rivers State Government House with former President Olusegun Obasanjo that the NDDC stuff was established. And after then, I was now made Commissioner of Energy in Bayelsa, where I served for, again, 4 years. And upon that, I went into private business. I currently run a RASCOP group that is involved in oil and gas asset security, engineering, procurement, and construction.
I represent Bayelsa East. It's on. It's on. I represent Bayelsa East Senatorial District. Yes. Including the good people of Oloibri. Oloibri, Mr. Chairman and members of this honorable committee, as you all know, is where oil was first found in 1956 in Nigeria. And I want to confirm here and now that he is one of my constituents, and we are all from the Oloibri area. I know him as a man of integrity and enormous capacity, and I believe that it is on that note that Mr. President had found him worthy to be appointed as one of the executive nominees, as one of the executive directors for this current board that is about to be reconstituted. He is a man of honor and integrity. He is an illustrious son of Bayelsa State. And I have confidence in him. The people have confidence in him. I can assure Mr. Chairman and members of this committee that if, by the special grace of God, the committee confirms him fit and worthy to be an executive director, he is going to do very well. What is expected of the board to be responsible, responsive, and cooperate with the Senate committee, and of course House of Reps, I expect synergy, cooperation in terms of oversight functions, yes, will definitely be actualized. I thank you.
It's very attractive. Oluibri is very attractive. Very, very attractive. For obvious reasons. As far as the oil and gas industry in this country is concerned. So, Mr. Chairman, the man who is representing him has spoken. Sikibo, who knew him many, many years ago as a young man growing up, and they are all architects, and he wanted to veer from his lane. Talking about law, comparing architect and law. This is not, he went on a frolic of his own. So, Mr. Chairman, I also believe in the capacity of the young man nominated to head the finance subsector in the NDDC. And so, if you wouldn't mind, I've gone through his CV, and there's nothing, no conflicting dates, no conflicting facts, no conflicting figures. And so I also endorse the nominee, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the opportunity.
He's a serious-minded person. He has the same kind of looks like the chairman himself. He's like someone who wants to achieve results, especially in the image that the NDDC has now, the very terrible image of NDDC. People like this can change it and make it for better as Director of Finance. And so I hope I'm speaking the mind of all the senators here now, that this man should rise and take a bow and go.
So that we can have an understanding, to have an environment that will be very conducive, and also to take that constituency of the youth very serious. Take the constituency of the youth very serious, engage them, and let them feel you, let them know that you are there. Thank you very much.
We have noted first your opening speech, you said you were one of the people or persons that engaged the former president that led to the establishment of NDDC. That shows that you have passion and you want NDDC to succeed. And you want to change the narratives in NDDC. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
An auditor has come forward to testify to your capacity and ability to do good things if you are cleared. And all the other senators feel that the combined effect of where you come from, your person as an activist, and as one of the founding members who discussed this issue, that you have special interest and you want the NDDC to succeed and to achieve the purposes for which the commission was set up. It's on that note we want to give you one singular privilege. And that privilege, please don't abuse it. Take it as a challenge and make sure that the NDDC succeeds. So stand up, take a bow. Thank you. Now, distinguished. Okay. The rep for Delta State, and presently the chairman of APC in Delta State. APC chairman in Delta State. I say no more. I say no more. I say no more. Just tell us in 2 minutes who you are. Just in 2 minutes. We have your CV, so just briefly. Sit down. Sit down.
Fortunately, from my own state and my own representative in the Senate, distinguished Senator James Manager, distinguished members, senators who are members of this committee, and my brother, Right Honorable, representing Warri Federal Constituency, also from my state, my greeting from Delta State. I am Prophet Jones Oderue, APC Chairman, Delta State, and the Deputy Chairman, APC Chairman Forum in Nigeria. I have been in the forefront of propagating the G factor in governance where there is zero tolerance of corruption and malpractices. I've been in forefront of this, and choosing me to represent Delta in NDDC will help me showcase what I've preached all over the year. And I think this is a golden opportunity given to me. If I am screened by this committee, I will not be a disappointment to the party and to my people. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, sir. Rochas, Mr. Chairman, sir. Mr. Chairman, sir. Mr. Chairman, sir.
Yes, of course, APC is important.
Mr. Chairman, sir.
Please recognize Senator James Manager, the senator, a ranking senator, very, very ranking senator of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and a respected senator of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for this very special recognition. And the people like Rochas must understand. In this place, the ranking is a serious business. Mr. Chairman, sir, of course, the nominee before us is a very unique personality. He's a prophet. And when you have a prophet in the midst of our people, then good things will definitely happen. So for the NDDC at this point in time, you certainly need a prophet. And that is the reason why Mr. President decided to bring on board this particular nominee. And the nominee is from Delta. The chairman is a Deltan, prominent Deltan. The man representing the nominee here is my humble self, James Manager. And of course, I am the oldest here, Rochas. So if you wouldn't mind, what aspirant? Okay, Rochas. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you wouldn't mind, this nominee, who you agree with me? And of course, the chairman of APC in Delta State. So that is very significant. I'm a PDP man, unrepentantly a PDP man. But because the man is the chairman of a sister party, a ruling party at the national level, I sincerely believe that. I believe in his qualities. I believe in his capacity. I believe in his abilities. So if you wouldn't mind, allow the nominee to follow similar pattern. The chairman, you are presiding. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I was a state chairman of a party, and I know the qualities of state chairman. And to talk of a state chairman of a party in a state like Delta State shows that the man has quality. Delta State is not just where you become a chairman for the sake of it. There are so many things you must have, so many qualities you must have to be a chairman of any party, not a party, a ruling party in Nigeria, in Delta State. And I want to say that as a colleague who has served and still serving as the chairman of the party, I will not expect my brothers from the APC to raise any objection, especially now that the PDP man, his senator, has spoken on his behalf. I therefore call upon this nominee to stand up, take a bow, and go. Ehato from Edo State, and if you see the way he is dressed, he is from the palace of the Oba of Benin. If you also look at his head, you can see that he is completely from the palace. I say no more. For those of us who are traditionalists, you are welcome. Oba Atokpe. Victor, can you address us? Chief Victor, can you address us in 2 minutes? You are going for appropriation, okay. Please, quickly.
Distinguished Chairman, sir, Vice Chairman, and members of the Honorable Committee on NDDC, my names are Victor Osemige Glory Ekato. I'm the Nombori of the Oba of Benin and a representative of the Oba of Benin as recommended in this NDDC board. I once served as a member of an interventionist agency in the state, the Edo State Oil and Gas Producing Area Development Commission. I was a two-time member there before this appointment came graciously. Thank you very much.
Matthew.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for this privilege given to me to talk on behalf of this nominee. This nominee is very well known to me. It has been known to me for over 20 years. And of course, we have had to play partisan politics together. So it's one person I know very well, and I can attest to his character and conduct. Mr. Chairman, my distinguished colleagues, I will not come before this very distinguished committee to add value to anybody that does not deserve it. I want to tell you that this nominee is one perfect nomination of Mr. President. And on behalf of the people of Edo South Central District, the district that produces oil and gas in Edo State, and for the reason that the state is described as a Niger Delta state. This nominee's experience, of course, just like he mentioned, was in Edo Spadek. He was there for 2 times, and of course he had a very good blend of representation. No doubt that the hues and cries that we have seen over our land concerning the non-performance of NDDC as expected to date, that all segments, particularly even the traditional institutions, are bothered about what has been happening and they want to change narratives. This is the reason, while, of course, in submission to the effort that the Mr. President has done very roundly and very well, the Benin monarch himself, because of his concern, decided to take somebody in the person and capacity of Chief Ekato. So I want to crave your indulgence, Mr. Chairman, my very distinguished colleagues, that this is another round pen in a round hole. And I want you, please, to use your very kind hearts, just like you have done even before this nominee came, that he takes a bow and he goes. Because, he's one person that will add value to NDDC. It will be a perfect representation of my state, Edo State, on the board of NDDC. Thank you very much.
We are all Bendel. And once you call the name of the Oba of Benin, it's a reverend name. And as somebody from Bendel, I have the duty and respect, and duty to always reverend that name and respect that institution. I wish to sincerely appeal to my colleagues to please kindly concede to the request I want to make that this nominee take a bow as a mark of respect to the Oba of Benin. Let him take a bow and go.
Thank you.
He said,
Thank you.
Thank you. That's great.
Yes, who is the next? Distinguished Senator.